My name is Bryan Tiang. So for this project, I was responsible for creating the single player and 2 and 3 player versions. So all three of them run identically, the only difference being the 2 and 3 players have additional functions and variables that allow the multiplayer to run. So the main idea is that when the game begins, a function called distribute card gives out cards to each player, and then another function called display player card and display dealer card then assigns images to the player and the dealer. After that, a function is used to obtain the amount that a player wants to bet, and a bunch of other functions are then used to determine whether the player has won or lost, and also to assign points to the player based on the amount they've bet, or deduct points from the player. So for the player 2 version and player 3, there are additional functions such as upload game data. So these functions tell the program to upload data to ThinkSpeak or to obtain data from ThinkSpeak. There's also a wait function that tells the program to stop or to run based on different conditions. There's also another variable called images index that basically is used by the program to form this variable here, which will be then used to display images for each player. The player 3 component is slightly longer because in the startup function, there are basically this is where the loop happens. There are different cases of loops, such as if player 1 runs out of points, player 2 and 3 should continue normally, and if player 2 runs out of points, player 1 and 3 will then continue normally. So yeah, besides that, most of the code is similar.
Hello, my name is Ethan Raif, and for my portion of the project, I was in charge of the audio components, as well as helping out the design of the GUI. So as you can see with the font and colors and buttons in the start screen, as well as in the actual gameplay screen, and then also the audio components. So in the start screen, there is audio that plays in the background, which I was in charge of. So I implemented this bit of code which plays an ambient casino sound at the background, and then it needs to stop whenever a button is pressed to initiate the game or exit the game, which is implemented through this clear sound code. And then as you can see in the actual gameplay code, there is multiple sounds, including a sound for winning and losing a round. As you can see here, there is a tune that plays for winning the round, and then alternatively also, if one is to lose the round, another losing sound is played. And then there is a sound for a card flipping. So the card flip sound plays in multiple different scenarios, the first of which is when the game is started and all the players are dealt a card. You will hear the card flip sound for each card that is dealt, as well as if a player chooses to hit or draw a new card, the same audio will be played. Then there is a sound for betting. So when a player is to bet, there is a coin drop sound which is played to emulate the sound of betting in a casino. And then finally, there's a sound for shuffling the cards, which is played after each round to mimic the sound of the dealer shuffling the cards before they are redealt. Thank you.
Hello, I am Austin, and I'm here to share with you a bouncing card function that I implemented for a title screen on MATLAB. So there's two types of cards. There's one that bounces left to right, and there's one that bounces right to left. It'll create a random y velocity at the start, and then it'll simply continue until the card goes off the screen, in which it'll create a new card on the other side and keep going. and it will look something like this. All right, thank you.
So hi everyone, my name is Nesiri.
And I'll be going through the demos and the gameplay and the user point of view of our blackjack game. So here, this is our starting page. As you can see, one of our reach component was to use animations, and you guys can see the cards animating around the starting page. And the other reach component we had was the background sounds. We have the background music. Whenever we win or lose, we have a background music for the starting page, as you can hear right now. We have the chips noise and the cards getting shuffled and drawn. So I'm gonna go through the single player, 2 player, and 3 player, and 3 player was the other reach component of our project. So I'm just gonna start with the single player. So I just clicked on single player. Alright, so this is our setup for the single player. So here in the middle we have the start function, as well as where you can see how much you want to bet, and on top we have the dealer's hand value, and basically down there we have our hand value, which tells us what we have on our hand, and plus we have our score down there. And once I start the game, we'll be able to see my cards, and here's our hit or stand functions, as well as the quit function on the top right, which is gonna just get us back to the starting page. Let's just go ahead and start. As you guys just heard, that was the cards sound that is drawing. Alright, so here I'll be able to enter a bet amount. I hit the blackjack. I'm just gonna go ahead and bet 200, and I win. Alright, hi everyone. Now we're gonna play the demo for our 2-player blackjack game, and let's go. Let's just dive in. I'm gonna click on 2-player. On the other hand of the game, my groupmate Ethan is gonna play against me. Now this is our 2-player setup. Here in the middle, you can choose to be player 1 or player 2. I'll be the player 1, and I click on start to start the game. And my groupmate is gonna pick player 2. You can hear, you just heard 6 cards drawn, which was one of our reach components. Here I have a 21 blackjack, so I'm gonna bet 150. And my opponent is still in the game, and he is placing his bet right now. I'm just gonna type in bet, and I'm gonna stand. So the round is won. The dealer had 17, I had 21 blackjack, and my groupmate, my opponent, had 24, so he lost, but I win the game. And because I win the game, you guys just heard the winning background sound. So we're gonna play another hand. Here I have 20, I'm gonna bet 200. My opponent's bet was 25. You can also see that. I'm gonna stand. And the dealer also had the 20, so the round is a draw. And the cards get shuffled again. So this is how our multiplayer blackjack game is happening and is coded. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. So hi everyone, welcome back. This time we're gonna be playing 3-player blackjack, and this is our reach component. So let's just dive in and play the game. So I just clicked on 3-player. For the 3-player, we have Bryan playing as player 1, and Ethan playing as number 2, and I'll be player 3. So first, player 1 is going to place its bets, then player 2 and 3. So player 1 just went all in. He's got a 14. Now it's player 2's, Ethan's turn to place his bets. And now it's my turn. I'm just going to go ahead and bet 150. And Bryan just busted out. He is over 21. Ethan decided to stand. I'm just going to go ahead and stand. And the round is won. The dealer has 15. I have 17. Closer to blackjack. So once Bryan is out the game, it's going to be a 2-player game basically, and Bryan gets out of the game. So basically this is what we have for 3 players blackjack.